What is up, guys? Sumi here with ThoughtCast, and today I'm going to talk about betrayal. Betrayal is something that will happen to pretty much everybody in their lifetime, and betrayal is one of the hardest things to deal with. Whether it's in a relationship in itself, from cheating and infidelity, or whether it's in a friendship where your friend said something or did something behind your back, or whether it's in business where someone has done something to hurt you in your professional career, betrayal is extremely difficult to deal with. Typically, when you're betrayed, there's about 8 emotions that you feel. The first one is anger. We're angry that this happened to us. We're upset that someone could do this to us. And we just want to do everything in our power to get even with this person. See, anger is very strongly associated with revenge. And so this is the first thing that usually comes into our heads. When we get betrayed, the first thing we feel is anger. Why did they do this to us? How could they do this to us? And this also correlates with the second emotion, which is surprise. You're surprised that this even happened. But the funny thing is, betrayal has to happen from someone that's very close to us. See, you can't get betrayed by a stranger because they don't necessarily owe you anything. Betrayal happens from those that we love and that we care about. And often the strongest betrayals occur from the people that we have the closest to us because they understand our flaws, our vulnerabilities, and everything there is to do with what we're doing in that situation. The third emotion that we have is sadness. Now, these emotions are all compiled once again. So it's not that sadness is first, second, third, last, whatever it might be. It is that sadness is overwhelming you and it's surrounding you in this betrayal process. You're sad that this happened. This person that you cared about, this friend, this partner, this business associate of yours hurt you. And that makes you deeply upset because in the nature of things, this is someone that you thought you could trust. This also leads to the fourth emotion where you're fearful now. You're fearful to trust other people. You're fearful to bring other people into your life and bring them close to you because, like I said, betrayal happens from those that are the closest to us. This fear is something that's very negative, right? If that fear begins to take over your life, it can consume you and it can really create a negative outlook on the world. So fear is a very dangerous thing. The sadness is something that we understand, but the fear in itself can change you in who you are and how you approach different situations in friendship, business, and relationships. The fifth emotion is insecurity. This person has illuminated a weakness in you. The fact that you got betrayed, the fact that you didn't see it even happen, shows you that you were incapable of really reading the red flags in the situation. And that makes you feel insecure because, when someone betrays you, when someone does something so detrimental to you behind your back, it crushes your value. And that is a very dangerous thing as well. Just along with fear and insecurity are two very dangerous emotions. When put in the same room, when put in the same situation, they can really break a person down and change the psychology of you entirely. And this also leads into the next one, which is emotion number 6. This is shame. Now, some of you might be kind of confused by this. Why would you feel shameful if someone betrayed you? Well, depending on the type of betrayal, especially in relationships where someone has cheated on us or done something behind our back, we feel insignificant, we feel shameful, we feel embarrassed about the situation and how others will treat us in the future situations of that, compartmentalized situation. It's important for us to not feel ashamed, to let go of that insecurity, or to not allow ourselves to feel that insecurity, and to understand that fear is something that we should not internalize. The 7th emotion that we feel is loneliness. We feel lonely. Because the person that betrayed us was typically a friend or someone that we could trust. When we lose people that we can trust, we typically feel alone. We feel like we can't reach out to other people. And that fear in itself prevents us from really building strong relationships and really going out there in the world and being positive about the new interactions that we have. That fear can cause you to slowly become a very isolated person. It's a very dangerous thing to be aware of. Last but not least is confusion. This is confusing. Why did they do it? What is the motive? That's the first thing that usually happens, and it's something that kind of starts in the beginning and ends in the end. Understanding why they did it can still be upsetting to you, right? It can still deeply upset you. But a lot of times in the initial phases, we're like, why did they do this? How could they do this? What made them do this to me? Where was the value? Was it even real? So on and so forth, right? So these 8 emotions are very strong when it comes to betrayal. The number one thing I'm gonna tell you to do is when you get betrayed is, number one, you need to detach yourself from the situation in itself. You need to take a step back and logically assess this. This is one of the hardest things to do. It is very difficult to be logical in a very emotional situation. So you must take a step back and understand that revenge and doing something negative is not necessarily going to benefit you. If you commit negative actions and you act in a negative way, you're not going to get positive results. You're going to get some temporary emotional satisfaction, but at the end of the day, it's not going to add to your actual well-being and your actual growth. So it's very important for you to learn to forgive the situation immediately. Yes, I said it, and some of you might be mortified by me saying that. I'm someone that forgives very quickly. And the reason is, if I hold this hate, if I hold this grudge, if I hold this negativity inside me, it's actually more anchoring than anything else. For me to hold that negativity inside me because of the negative acts of another person is me actually losing. See, when someone does something bad to me and I change the way that I am because of that situation, that means that their actions have won. That means their actions now dictate who I am now. So it's very important for me to let go of this, to shed that negativity immediately. I don't want to harbor this internal hate, this internal grudge, and this internal negativity, because then I become a hateful, negative, and very envious person of who this person is to become. So I drop that immediately. I forgive, but never forget. Never walk back into the situation. You're only a victim once, and the rest of the times you're a volunteer. So when it comes to betrayal, you must learn to let go of that person and to detach yourself from the situation. Never let it occur to you twice. That is the weird thing about betrayal. There is no 10-step process to getting over it. It's just to move away and to forgive that person, to really just move away from them. But never forget. And in this whole process in itself, if I may add a third step, it's to elevate. It's to become better. It's to do whatever you were doing and be a good person to others so that this situation does not necessarily affect you. You got betrayed because you didn't analyze the red flags and you didn't understand this person. There are situations like this that will happen to us in life, even though we are looking at every single situation, because people all have selfish motives. But one of the most important things I'll tell you right now is that the most selfish individuals will always demonstrate a hint or two that they are going to do something. There's always some red flags present. So you must look at these red flags and really set barriers to protect yourself, whether it's in business, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in a friendship, so that you don't get your heart hurt, so that you don't get destroyed. Because a lot of times when we give, we expect to get. But you should give freely. You should always give friendship, love, and advice in business in a manner where you give without necessarily losing. See, betrayal can happen in so many different ways, and it can be difficult for us to get over this betrayal. And a lot of times what people do is they internalize it. They don't seek the coaching, the therapy, the help they need to get over this. So I'm telling you right now, the number one thing that you need to focus on is detaching from that person, because you need to get distance, you need to get separation. And number two, forgive them. Learn to forgive them. Forgiveness is the most powerful skill you can learn in the world. When someone does you wrong, you don't hold on to that negativity. You move on about your life. It's better for you. It's better for the whole situation. And it's better for that person in itself, because they feel bad about what they did. If you forgive someone for doing something so bad to you and they see that you're able to move on but you don't forget, they will feel bad and they will try to appease you. Psychologically, they will crave you. They'll gravitate towards you. I've been someone that has held grudges in the past and it never got me anywhere. So learn from the mistakes that I made and learn to forgive but not forget.